We're looking at core weave here on the weekly chart. You can see we closed down below our overall structure, but we have a nice little gap up going in our futes tonight. So it looks like we should get a nice little run up in here, or at least a gap up going into tomorrow's pre-market. And that should put us back inside this overall structure. But either way, we're going to leave this on here until we get a nice clean break of a full candle out of this overall structure here to the downside. So what are we looking at going forward? Well, first up, we have to get above and a hold of this 8360. That's where our lower trend line is here on this overall structure. It's a nice resistance for us here back in December and January. As you can tell, a little bit of support here in February as well. So that is going to be an overall level that we are going to be watching, that we do need to get above and hold. To the upside above that, it's all going to come down to these moving averages, right? So I don't really have any lines in here because I'm more focused on both of these moving averages. That's what we care about right now. 9-day EMA and the 50-day SMA, both trading at exactly 99.95. So that whole area, it's not necessarily the exact level to the cent, right? $99.95. It's more wherever those moving averages are going to end up, they're going to carry a lot of weight for us. So we're going to see if we can, let's just get up there first, right? We'll worry about getting up there, maybe bang our head, hang out up there first. Then we'll worry about jumping across them. But until then, we're going to get up there and then see how, what type of expansion we get. Is that 9-day EMA going to stay above the 50? Is the 50 going to stay above 9-day EMA? They're going to ride each other out. What is going to happen? So let's get up there first, then we'll worry about it. But right now, both those areas are trading at that 99.95. That's going to be a key level for us. But if we do get above either of those and we get some nice separation, we get some clarity in here of our overall run here to the upside that we may or may not get, then we're going to be looking up here to this 114. Now to the downside in here, say we gap up and we're here about 83 or so tomorrow, maybe in those low 85s, but then we end up crashing back down. We're below this overall structure in here. We're probably trading back down to where we are right now, 80 to 85. Well, to the downside in here, we're looking at that 79, then we're looking at 71, and then 65 all the way down here, which was our previous support coming back from November of last year. So that is what we're looking at in here in core weave. Your IV ranking here is sitting right around a 40 in here. Obviously, with a pop in the overall market, your VIX is probably going to come down tomorrow, so be aware of that. So that's going to shake up everything as far as volatility wise. $9 expected move priced in by this Friday, the following about $11. So let's see what happens in here as we open up a new week coming off a long weekend in here. We're also going to take a look at IREN in here. This is a stock that it seems to have broke out of this overall channel in here. You can see this overall structure that we had, this lower trend line. We had this, and then we had this 50-day SMA. We let them both ride out in here last week. So we're going to see what type of action we are going to get in here. We can honestly probably go ahead and clean this up depending on where we open up tomorrow. But as basically what are we looking at in here for resistance wise? We're going to be looking at that 39. We got to get back in those 40s in here. This 50-day SMA is going to be an area that's going to be hard for us to get above, but if we do, then we should be climbing and then working our way back into those 50s. But that $44 area right now is that 50-day SMA. That is going to be the major player for us if we get any momentum behind another push in here to the upside. To the downside in here, no consolidation. If we don't get anything in here, it looked like we're going to be coming back down to right around that low 30 range yet again. Now, as far as our implied volatility goes, IV ranking here is sitting at 57, about a $6 move priced in by this coming Friday, next Friday, right around $8. And it looks like more or less all the action came in on the puts in here this past Friday, obviously with the huge downturn that we had. I mean, IREN in here is down around almost 11% just on the day. That's not including the whole week in here. So nice big down move in here. Let's see if we can get any traction to the upside. When this thing moves, it is going to go. Same with core weave, but again, we'll kind of have to wait and see and play things out in here. But more or less, core weave, we need to worry about getting back in that overall structure and then seeing what's going to happen there with those moving averages, right? That's kind of the two-step process that we're looking at in there. We don't really care that much about volatility, contraction, or expansion. We're more or less just kind of trading that moving average. Where is that going to end up? Because our call skew in there is going to push it higher if we do get any sort of high movements. IREN, on the other hand, technically there's not really a good spot for us. It's this 50-day SMA or maybe this lower trend line here, kind of in this whole area. It's kind of jumbled between their 40s and 50s, but we want to see some a little bit of contraction in our volatility. That's going to kind of push the stock higher. Your skew in here was skewed to the downside, so that's going to change things if we do get a quick little pop in this stock. Whereas where if we get a move in CoreWeave, it's probably going to move quicker to the upside, right? Because of the call skew, whereas IREN maybe not as quick, but we care more about that 40 to about $44 range, see what's happening in here, and then we can go and play these moving averages and resistances and things like that to the upside. So it's kind of the tale of two different stocks in here, sort of in the same sector though, but kind of two different stories, or what we're getting in here. But more or less the moral of the story in both is we're going to get a jump tomorrow, it looks like. So let's hold on and see what's going to happen in here as we start a new week. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you're interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.